remembered me saying that. Well, that's not a lot of use for you guys because you're still looking at it saying, well, have they taken the deal? Has it taken the deal? Has it taken the deal? And you don't know yet. So what we're looking for is when it actually finally switches, when it finally gets the switch. In other words, it goes back to a process that we've taught this process on many occasions. And that is a count process, okay? So the count process does something like this. You all know the count process does this kind of idea here. And the count process does this idea here, 1. And we always said if you can count to 3, that you could make money. Well, obviously, Max is now looking at whether you can count at all beyond that 1 point. So what Max is now doing is coming up with that 1 point and then saying after the 1 point, there's going to be a possible sell trade in these areas. So obviously, it's up to you to then investigate that possibility of sells on the 2 and the 3 point. Because if you can count to 3, you can make money, right? If you can count to 3, you can make monies. So that's what we're kind of trying to get Max to show you guys on a screen. Sorry guys, I just bought some equities off the 25s again. Anybody with me this time? No? Okay, fair enough. Bunch of miseries. We did say that we were buying the bottom edge in equities just a short while ago, but hey ho. So we got, obviously when we get that, the 1 point, we're obviously going to be looking at the 2s and the 3s to try and grab a bit of business against that. That's a nice trade, by the way, guys. 25s just traded 28.5. So if you manage to squeeze a little bit of business there. Stuart's on board. Yeah, yes. Good stuff. Nice trade there, Stuart, right? 28s, 25s, cracking outcome. Right, so there's the 2 point. And here's the 3 point. Now we trade the 2s and the 3s based on Max. So when we trade the 2s and the 3s based on Max, of course, the question that we had this morning was, is it a sell limit or a sell stop? Do we use a lean? Do we not use a lean? Well, obviously, there's going to be choices to make in here. The idea is that when we get this price here, we should take a sell market order. And obviously, if we get enough distance through, depending upon our stop strategy, we may well take another sell limit order. And obviously, we may well take a profit. We may well do it again here. We may well do it again here. And obviously, that's the point. That's the process. So let's take a look at how the trade evolves. This is what it shows. So from the classrooms, you'll remember if you've heard me discussing Max as it's been happening, I says, right, Max is looking for a buy or Max is looking for a sell. The vertical line is Max starting the process. So Max is starting the process of looking for a sell. And obviously at some stage that process finishes and then we start looking. So that leaves us with the 1 print. So where that red line is, when it stops moving higher, that becomes our 1 print right there. So when the red line stops moving higher, it becomes our 1 print. And anything above the 1 print, of course, becomes a 2 or a 3. So anything above that becomes a sell. So we start selling into this area. You can see we get a very, very nice sell outcome from that trade. We go from 6.5 down to around about zeros. That's a 6.5 point profit. $300 in your tail pocket almost immediately. Pretty good trade, right? Bearing in mind this is a 15-second chart. So it's a pretty fast, rapid time frame. So we're looking at 10 minutes in the market and a very, very nice profit on that deal. Max starts looking for a buy trade. Max stops looking for a buy trade here. And that leaves us with the 1 print. So when the green line is off, that leaves us with a 1 print right there. So now that we've got the 1 print, what we're looking for is the 2 print, which is now below that price. And there it is right there. So we're going to buy into that 2 print. And we're going to go off the 97s to a high price of 07s. 97 to 07, 10 points, $500 swing. Pretty good trade, isn't it? Pretty good trade. So when it happens next, Max starts looking for a trade. Max finds a trade. Max leaves behind the buy print, which is the 1 point, which is right here. There's the 1 print right there. Anything below the 1 print is a buy trade. It was literally 1 tick below the 1 print. Became a buy trade and the price went up. So this takes us to 20 past 18. 20 past 18. As we move forward from 20 past 18, we carry on into the next chart, which is this one here. You can see the next trade we got was another buy trade here. That was the next trade we got there. Looks very similar, but it's a different one. And we got a 1 and we got a 2 and a 3 print, and we didn't get much out of it, but we certainly got a stop at break even plus a small profit. And then we saw Max looking for a buy trade. We got the 1 print. We bought into it once, twice, 3 times we bought into it. And look at that buy trade, guys. Look at that buy trade. This buy arrow, by the way, here, this buy arrow here is this buy arrow here. Look at that buy trade, guys. We went from a buy price. You couldn't make it up, could you? You couldn't make it up, guys. We caught the whole uptrend, pretty much. So we went from a buy price here of 46 handle. Ultimately, when Max switched on to a sell trade and eventually walked away at 46.30, a $1,500 per contract winner right there. $1,500 per contract winner. We get 2 sell trades. Max switches on here, leaves behind a print. We get a 1 print, we get a sell, scratches out. And then we get another top edge sell here, which goes for a very, very, very substantial profit, somewhere in excess of about 500. No, more than $500, guys. That's a sell from what, about 38 to 18. So okay, so $1,000. Okay, so that's second sell plus $1,000 profit on that sell trade just there. So you can see the profit on the Max trades today, from yesterday, sorry. And you can see that depending upon the size of your stop, and that's obviously going to be important, the size of the stop becomes an important qualification, but depending upon the size of your stop, you can see we're not really driving big drawdowns into these trades. I think the biggest stop was about 6 ticks. So the biggest stop that was used or needed to be used was approximately 6 ticks maximum drawdown, approximately. So you might have needed to use a stop of 7, but it gives you an idea of the size of the risk that we used on any one of these trades. And if we'd taken a 6-tick maximum drawdown, we had 100% winners. And it wasn't just for chicken feed winners either. It wasn't just for a tuppence halfpenny turn of profits. You can see we got some really substantial rippers in this trade as well, didn't we? Some really substantial trade outcomes. And as I said, 100% winners. A couple of scratches depending upon your money management strategy, but certainly the majority of them gave us some real good upside. I mean, this trade obviously had a very, very small drawdown of about two ticks. And it had an upside from the price that we got in at, which was just about 1.5. It traded a high print of about 4. So 2.5 points, guys. So $100 and change, right? So we got about $100 and change out of that little trade at the bottom there. So we got about $100, and obviously that could have been enough to get a stop at break even. And when it drove back down, we got another trigger coming into the market. So we had to wait until that trigger switched back off again. And then we went again into this trade here. And that trade there obviously was the big one for $1,500 unis. Pretty good. Yeah, it's all right. It'll do. It's a good start. But at least it's now starting to, we've been working on trying to get it so that that qualification that we always gave you when we were commentating on Max, that is, Max is switching on, but we've got to wait till Max finds the trade and then we'll lean against that trade. So that's what we've been kind of working on in the most recent passage of play to make sure that when that trade switches on, it's not instantly triggered into the market for you, because we've still got to find the trade, and that's what Max is doing there. It's looking for the trade, it's looking for the 1 point, and then it's giving you the opportunity to join on the 2s and the 3s. And that's where it becomes safer to do so, and that's why we're getting 100% winners with small drawdowns. So that's what we're looking for. Good trade, by the way, guys. 25s up to 30s there for that equity long. 5 points, $250. That'll do, Julian, won't it? $250. We'll take that little profit, thank you. Move on to someone else. Did anybody sell any of that gold pop to the upside short term? Anybody work some orders against that 72.5 print? 72.5 print, guys, 72.5s. 72.5 print, guys. Remember, 2.5, guys, on gold is a wholesale price. Remember, 2.5, 5s, 7.5s, 0s. Wholesale price prints on gold. The 2.5 sell was a better value trade as well. Compared to the previous sell. I didn't like the previous sell because we had this spike on the 2s, 5s, but this one here at 2.5 I think was a far, far better sell, and it's exactly the same price basically we sold at before. So 2.5s, remember guys, wholesale price on gold is quarters. So gold traders trade 2.5s, they trade zeros of course, they trade 2.5s, zeros, they trade 7.5s, and that's the kind of wholesale price range areas that gold traders trade in. They trade the quarters, the halves, the 3/4, and the zeros. Yeah, all good, all good, all good, all good. In pretty good shape today, aren't we? We've had some cracking trades. It's been a very, very, it's been a very soft day on us, hasn't it? Because it's been quiet. It's been those kind of days where we haven't been too involved, but what we have been involved in has actually been really quite straightforward, simple little taps into simple little areas to make a little bit of simple cash. But it's just been a little bit quieter than usual, isn't it? A little bit quieter, but all good stuff. All good stuff. Just takes a little bit of patience, just a little bit of work, and we've been banging in the 100%ers today.